Now let's discuss Cathie Wood and her big predictions of Bitcoin price hitting between $1 and $1.5 million per coin. But first, I got to give credit where credit is due because Cathie Wood is ahead of the curve. Check this out. This week marks the 8th anniversary of Cathie Wood's decision to make Ark Invest the first U.S. ETF to invest in Bitcoin when the price was a mere $200 to $300 per coin. So as I say, she's a smart cookie. At the time, Bitcoin was still relatively uncharted territory for traditional investment vehicles, especially ETFs. However, Wood's decision to include Bitcoin in Ark's portfolio was groundbreaking and reflected her belief in the potential of the digital currency. Wood remarked at that time, when Bitcoin was roughly $200, "We believe the Bitcoin platform could be as big as the internet platform," which in its early days also faced tests associated with illicit activities. We would prefer to invest after rather than before such tests. We have been impressed that the Bitcoin price has stabilized in the $200 to $300 range. It could have imploded, but has survived. That's right. Though the exact figure can't be known, Bitcoin has witnessed an astronomical increase in value since the time, surging by roughly 12,000%. Talk about gains. This remarkable growth has solidified Bitcoin's position as a significant asset class, capturing the attention of institutional and retail investors alike. Now, Cathie Wood and Ark Invest have remained at the forefront of crypto adoption and innovation. Their ongoing commitment to Bitcoin includes educational efforts like white papers, investments in Bitcoin companies like Coinbase, and public appeals for regulatory clarity around the sector, particularly around Bitcoin ETFs. Let's go. For example, Ark is one of the roughly 10 applicants for the Bitcoin Spot ETF alongside BlackRock, Fidelity, and the vehicle is used to purchase its crypto, the Grayscale Bitcoin Investment Trust, better known as GBTC. And already, Bitcoin futures ETFs are publicly traded and have been since 2021. Now, still, while Wood is known as a Bitcoin bull, she was notably on the sidelines for some time, first posting on X that Bitcoin can go viral in 2013 when it was fighting to rebound from its $1,000 high that year. And as Bitcoin continues to evolve and reshape the financial landscape, Wood's early recognition of its potential and her contributions to the industry have left an indelible mark on the world of finance. So again, massive shout out to Cathie Wood. Now let's dive into her predictions, more specifically predicting the Bitcoin price is going to skyrocket here in the future. I'm also going to be breaking down her timelines of when precisely we're likely to hit these marks. Back in February, Cathie Wood of Ark made headlines when she raised her firm's 2030 price target for BTC from $1 million a coin to an eye-popping $1.48 million per BTC. Now, 6 months later, she's doubled down on that price forecast, more convinced than ever the Bitcoin's on a trajectory to $1 million and beyond. Send it. Now let's discuss, can she be right? Certainly $1.5 million sounds like an outlandish forecast, even for BTC. After all, Bitcoin is still trading at this time just above 27,000, nearly 60% below the all-time high of 69 Gs. But Wood said she has the numbers to back up her assertions. So let's dig in. First, let's discuss Bitcoin as a safe haven asset. According to Wood, Bitcoin is the perfect insurance policy. Preach. For an uncertain economic world. What convinced her more than anything was Bitcoin's performance during the regional banking crisis earlier this year, when Bitcoin skyrocketed from 19,000 to 30,000. That's nearly 60% gains signified to Wood that Bitcoin was increasingly being viewed as a safe haven in an unsafe world. Facts. During any flight to safety, investors would rush to move their money into BTC. 100%. There's no denying that. So in short, Bitcoin is once again being viewed as digital gold. Before the 2022 crypto market meltdown, it was commonplace to talk about Bitcoin as an alternative to physical gold and as the ultimate store of value. And according to Wood's bull case scenario, Bitcoin will eventually have a 50% share of the store of value market once dominated by gold. And what do we got? A market cap of roughly 10 trillion in today's numbers with gold. Now, that figure might sound high, but it lines up what Goldman Sachs Group predicted at the start of 2022. Back then, Goldman Sachs predicted Bitcoin would eventually account for a larger and larger share of the market, rivaling gold. Based on that prediction, Goldman Sachs set a Bitcoin price target of $100,000. And guess who comes from Goldman Sachs? You guessed it. No clarity, Gary Gensler. Now let's discuss Bitcoin and institutional investors. Cathie Wood's valuation model for Bitcoin also includes some key assumptions about the behavior of institutional investors. The key metric to watch here is their asset allocation into crypto, and specifically BTC. In her firm's bear case scenario for Bitcoin, this allocation stands at a relatively paltry 1%. But if it climbed to 2.5% in the base case scenario, then it skyrockets to 6.5% in the bull case scenario. The recent rush to file a spot Bitcoin ETF app with the SEC is perhaps the best sign yet of potential new institutional investors' interest into Bitcoin. Preach. In mid-June, we had BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, led the way with a spot Bitcoin ETF filing. Soon after, Ark Invest followed with an amended app for a similar type of spot Bitcoin ETF filing. No surprise here, but Bitcoin rallied hard in June after these announcements. These spot Bitcoin ETF filings were supposed to be going to unlock a tsunami of new money into Bitcoin, pumping up the price of the crypto. That's right, because we have a 700 trillion total addressable market. A lot of this money could be entering Bitcoin here shortly once we get the approval from No Clarity Gary, or after No Clarity Gary gets fired and replaced by Hester Pierce. Anyways, are these forecasts accurate? What are your thoughts? What's interesting is how, to relatively small assumptions, the Bitcoin will rival gold as a store of value, and that Bitcoin will represent a large share of institutional asset allocations can lead to a monumental assumption the Bitcoin will soon be worth over $1 million per coin. Let's freaking go. And smash that like button if you're gaining value out of today's show, fam. It helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. I can't stress that enough. From my perspective, the assumption about the behavior of institutional investors is the most important. As Ark Invest noted in its February report, there has been an absolute sea change in the way that institutional investors think about crypto. Some big-time investors, including BlackRock and Fidelity Investments, the two largest asset managers in the world, are now very much on board the crypto train. Their clients are demanding greater access to crypto, and they're now attempting to meet that need. So what do we look out for next? In terms of what's next for BTC, I'm keeping my eyes on how Bitcoin fares amid the economic uncertainty. I'm not quite ready to buy into the idea that Bitcoin is a safe investment, and certainly not after what we saw during the crypto winter of 2022, when Bitcoin lost nearly 65% of its value. But if there is another flare up on the regional banking crisis and investors behave the same way they did earlier in the year, I might be convinced. Long term, I am bullish. And FYI, this is the author. I'm reading a article right now. I'm going to give you my thoughts in just a moment. It might not reach 1.5 million by 2030, as Cathie Wood of Ark Invest is predicting, but it's also certainly going up over the next decade. If the institutional adoption rate skyrocket, then Bitcoin could be off to the races. Well, there you have it. Now for my particular thoughts. I do agree with Cathie Wood. I firmly agree that the Bitcoin price action is going to surpass $1 million by the year 2030. I also believe that next year we're going to witness the two most bullish catalysts in Bitcoin history. Bitcoin ETF, which historically, you know what I mean, there's no denying it. There's 4-year cyclical cycles, and every 4 years, prices go up. You know what I mean? It's supply and demand, stock to flow. And when you have a supply shock, you know what I mean, come in as well, that just adds to the bullish momentum. There's currently less than 2 million Bitcoin on the exchanges. Now, besides the Bitcoin halving, we also have the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. There's like a 95% chance that this gets approved. In fact, Congress told Gary Gensler they want the Bitcoin ETFs approved immediately. Immediately being the keyword. So once we get that approval, expect a tsunami of cash flooding into the Bitcoin markets. Those two catalysts alone are going to send Bitcoin to price discovery mode, which means new all-time highs. What's your prediction by the year 2030, 7 years out? Do you feel we'll likely smash that 1 million or even $1.5 million target that Cathie Wood has? Let me know your honest thoughts, fam, in the comments right down below. And again, if you gained value out of today's episode, be sure to smash that like button. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, you know what to do.